Yeah, I thought as there were a few people perhaps new to the class or new to the approach, I'd just say a few things by way of introduction. So to many of you, these things will be familiar, but it's never it never harms to just remind of what we're doing, the attitudes involved, and what does it mean to be cultivating awareness or to be growing awareness. So the practice is drawn from the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha's teaching on mindfulness, his primary teaching on mindfulness, along with the 16-stage Anapanasati Sutta. But it's not just a teaching on mindfulness, the Satipatthana Sutta. There's a whole load of Dharma teachings, and it's talked about as the direct path to awakening. So it is not a simple mindfulness practice. It's also a wisdom practice, but it doesn't exclude, if you like, the simplicity of mindfulness. So it's a practice that, yeah, goes the whole way, if you like, mindfulness and wisdom. And there are many, many different ways of practicing mindfulness as drawn from the Satipatthana Sutta. Some of those ways emphasize concentration. They emphasize samadhi and deep, deep stability of mind. Some emphasize more a present moment awareness. So just not being elsewhere, if you like, just whenever we notice, here I am back in the present moment. So there are lots of different emphases within those two broad main ones. And this approach is definitely of the second kind, the mindfulness in the present moment, but with wisdom, right view perspective. So I just want to spell out a few characteristics of that type of mindfulness or awareness. I use them quite synonymously. So it's receptive. We're becoming aware of what's already present. We're not going looking for some other quality or facet of our experience, and we're not trying to get rid of some aspects of experience that are there that we're not very keen on. So it's receptive to what's already there. So in this way, it's a bit more, just within our Triratna framework, it's a bit more like just sitting. It has some of the characteristics of just settling back, resting back, allowing what's there to be there, even if it's somewhat unwanted or unpleasant in our experience. This kind of awareness takes almost no or none of that trying type of effort. We come to awareness, we let awareness come to us, if you like. That's part of the receptivity, which takes the place, so mindfulness taking the place of strong effort or trying to make something happen. We're more interested in what the mind can naturally know in this moment, what the awareness is able to know. So sometimes I'll talk about watching the mind. So we don't usually take a single focus in this practice. We might do at times take more of a focus just to anchor the mind, but it will still be open to what else is happening. When we take a single focus, usually our aim is to cultivate samadhi or concentration. And that's not what we're doing. We're cultivating presence, if you like, presence of mind. But what watching the mind is about is watching what's happening through any of the 5 physical senses and the mind sense. So it's a very broad spectrum of what can be known, what comes into your attention. So it's not really, we're not looking to go out and find experiences or objects of attention, but we allow them to come to us. Any object is a good object for meditation. So often we can have ideas about what we need to be focusing on, what needs to be in the mind, and some things are good meditation objects we decide, and others we decide are not good meditation objects. But here we're not looking to make the mind be with anything in particular. We notice what the mind is interested in, and also what it shies away from, and get interested in that, oh, the mind is shying away from the fact that there's perhaps anger in the mind, or I'm in a bad mood, or there's physical pain in the body. There's certain things that the mind naturally shies away from, but we train the awareness to be able to recognize what those experiences feel like, and also how the mind is relating to them, that moving towards something, pulling away from it, or in the case of when the mind is aware, we're simply able to be with what's happening. Excuse me. So any object will do means that we can use any object to grow awareness. Any object is a good meditation in that way, because awareness can know whatever is in the mind. So the quality of this awareness is naturally open, receptive, spacious. One of my favorite words for it is benign. It's a benign awareness. It doesn't have these strong pushes and pulls, but it has this sort of relaxed openness. Relaxation is really important because we relax into awareness rather than trying to become awareness. So the quality of the awareness implies, and is true, that we are more interested in how the mind is aware than what we're aware of, the objects that we're aware of in the mind. And all of these things amount in different ways to right view in the mind, to a Dharma perspective in the mind. There's less involvement with experiences, just seeing something as an experience rather than what's happening to me is already quite a big movement towards that right view, more impersonal perspective. There's a wiser involvement with what's happening. We're not becoming enmeshed in an experience, but able to still feel what's happening, but able to sort of see it a little bit more objectively. This is joy in the mind. This is what that feels like in the mind and in the body, for example. Or conversely, this is this is anger, and what does that feel like in the body, in the mind? This is sleepiness. What's that like? So that what's that like is a really helpful little question. It points us towards the experience of what's happening and away from thinking about what's happening. Okay, so receptivity, watching the quality of the effort, watching the mind, having the perspective that any object will do. and being aware of the qualities of the awareness itself. They're all things that, yeah, are part of the, if you like, the groundwork or the framework of the practice. Okay, so if you'd like to set yourselves up to sit, I'll do that.